All right, guys. I am sharing a my pre-read for you guys. So this is kind of a pre-read. It's for the making of Renaissance Society. It's what I taught during the summer. It's what I'm going to continue to. You got to do pre-reads. People are like, I don't want to do a pre-read. Totally cool. Probably aren't going to be very successful in my class because the pre-read tells you what you're going to do and really kind of how long it's going to take you to do the reading. Right now, I need you to set aside about 60 minutes a night to read. Some of you are going to take a little longer, some of you are going to take a little shorter, but the goal is always about 60 minutes of college level textbook. Remember, this college level textbook is written at a 10th grade level. So this is not out of reach for you. It's just that it's kind of sad when you realize that most high school textbooks are written at the 6th grade level, but that's another story. All right. So people are like, what is a P1? A P1 is a power one. It's the main theme. Well, this one, the main theme is the making of Renaissance society. Unlike the last one that gave us the P2s, meaning and characteristics, I have to find, well, what made the Renaissance society? So I look at this question, I see what major social changes occurred. For me, the blue is much more important, but I do got to think about what this means. But now I'm gonna kind of ponder. First part, make us the first P2. It's pretty obvious. It's economic recovery. Economic recovery is going to be the first heading. So now I have to figure out, how does the economic recovery establish the making of a Renaissance society? So I'm like, I wonder how that is. So I kind of scroll through. I see a banquet. I might read this, but again, for you guys, I probably skip right now for the next week anything that's in this brown. And I look, and I don't see anything. Oh, look, expansion of trade. That's a P3. The P1 is the making of a Renaissance society. The first P2 is economic recovery, and the first P3 is economic expansion. So I have to figure out how economic expansion or expansion of trade connects to the economic recovery. So I see that. I'm going to ponder through. Okay, I see, really, I'm like, coming over here. Oh, I see industries old and new. All right, that's another P3. So I knew before I move on that, I need to make sure I understand what does that mean about the expansion of trade? What are the details? That's cool. Now I have to realize, I'm going to move to industries old and new. Well, since the word is and, I'm going to talk about old industries and new industries. So I'm going to break that P3 into two P4s. I'll show you. Again, you're like, I'm not sure. Probably should have paid attention this summer. But I will help you with that in the next video. I'm going to show you the framework of this. All right. Then I'm going to look over here. I see this. I see a P5. So under the industries, I have to make sure I understand what an entrepreneur is. It's a bold word. It's kind of a childish thing to do that they do, but it's a bold word. So you need to know that. And then I see the banking and the Medici. So the first P2 is, I need to understand how the economic recovery is part of making of a Renaissance society. And in the economic recovery, I need to know about expansion of trade, old and new industries, and the banking of the Medici. So I need to know those three. And that is that's one chunk. So I am going to memorize that those things go with it. And that's going to be my framework. The next P2, social changes. And everybody see the heading looks different. So this indicates that this is no longer part of the previous heading. It's a separate heading. It's a P2 heading. So this is going to be the second subheading. So I see social changes in the Renaissance. So I'm going to come through. I see this bold word again, indicator, I need to know what the estates are. So social changes. Well, I want to talk about the nobility. How did the nobility change? Change. The word is change, right? That's what I'm reading for. I don't care about what they are. I want to know how they changed. So that's what, all right, I see a italics book. Authors and books are always important. They're going to be key details, but I just see that. Now, the next, so that's a P3 over here, this P3, I see peasants and townspeople. Well, I see the word and, so now I need to know peasant. How does the peasant fit? And how did townspeople fit? There are two different things going on. So I'm going to read through. Please read excerpts. So many people skip excerpts. They actually are there for evidence. All right. And then under this, I see slavery. I'm like, all right, that's weird to me because when I think of the Renaissance, I already know from last night's reading that it's about the value of the individual. But here we have slavery. How is slavery? So that's going to be a kind of I'm thinking. So I see this, I'm pondering. All right, so I skim through. So now I have a new P2. So now I know the second P2 is changes in society. I need to know nobles, peasants, town people, and slaves. So now I need to make sure I understand details for those and how they represent a change. Got that. My next P3, the family in the Renaissance. I'm going to need to know about marriage, children. So those are two P3s here. Again, I see this is a pretty famous painting. And I see sexual norms. All right, sexual norms. And then, I don't need to do this. This is a different P1. So now I'm here. So I end at 344. I really like this page. You probably do. It's only less than 2 paragraphs there. So now I know before I leave, I have 3 P2s that develop that. So now I know what my P1. My P1 is making of a Renaissance society through economics, social changes, and the development of family. Hey, that sounds like a thesis statement, doesn't it? But that's what a P1 is. I now know that I'm going to talk about the making of Renaissance society through economic recovery, social changes, and family. That is a pre-read. It took me, I don't know how many minutes, you'll see in a second, but I do that for every reading, even when I'm at college, even if I'm in grad school. That's what I do because I want to know what I'm reading for so I can best use my time. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I do.